What it do, baby? It's another YouTube episode of the Preachers and Sneakers podcast. This is developing into maybe one of two things. The title being Amateur Hour on the Preachers and Sneakers podcast, or playing around with the idea of old news, either the old news podcast or the old news segment of the Preachers and Sneakers podcast. I don't know, because it takes me so long to get these videos uploaded that by the time they do, it's like I'm talking about 2 weeks old current events. Just doing what I can do, you know, trying to have grace for myself. So hope everybody's having a good week. I have been working hard in the corporate sector of life and haven't been spending a ton of time on socials. And so my mental health is probably skyrocketing on the health spectrum because I haven't been spending a ton of time on socials. It's just like plenty of people spend a lot of time on social media with kids, but like for me, having a kid now, it's just like, this is a waste of time in a lot of ways. Whatever. I'm having a real job now and a child and a wife. There's like 8 minutes of free time at the end of the day. And so nothing I'd rather do than get on and bicker with a bunch of randos online. That's my favorite thing to do. Anyways, you know, the old news podcast or the old news channel or the amateur hour channel on YouTube by way of Preachers and Sneakers, however you want to say it, has been pretty fun, and I've enjoyed the feedback, any feedback that I've gotten. The positive feedback is the best, you know, because I'm a millennial and I can't take criticism, much like any of my other millennial brethren out there. But anyways, it's been fun talking about sneakers and entertainment and sports, but also a little bit of faith, even though it's exhausting to talk about all the craziness that's going on in the faith world. But, you know, if you're here, you like to hear my takes on things, and so that's what I'm going to give you. This weekend, it's November 7th. I'm trying to make this podcast evergreen, but if we're talking about current events, it ends up not being evergreen at all. But this past weekend, Travis Scott, who is one of the most famous entertainers of our generation and is cornering the sneaker collaboration market as well, had his annual Astroworld festival, I guess, in Houston. This isn't a good thing by any means, but it's pretty important, I guess. There was a deadly crowd surge at the Astroworld Music Festival in Houston, and I think 8 people lost their lives because of freaking people losing their minds about this dude, Travis Scott, and the opportunity to get an inch closer to this guy. Dozens injured. It was sold out, obviously, organized by Travis Scott, and it was so tightly packed that when audience members were pushed toward the stage, they were crushed to the point where they couldn't breathe and passed out. This freaking guy, Travis, and he knows it's happening. Travis Scott knows people freak out about him, his events, obviously his sneakers, all that stuff. And this is one of the like worst concert tragedies. Not my words. I read it. I think it might have been in the CNN article that I'm looking at. One of the worst concert tragedies of all time. 8 people losing their lives because all these jackasses were rushing the stage to try to get closer to Travis Scott. I mean, God dang it, dude. Like, there is no pair of sneakers, there is no entertainer in the world that is worth losing your mind over. And it's so sad that these people lost their lives because some people couldn't compose themselves or act like a human. Gosh, this stuff pisses me off because it's so evident. I mean, people are searching for significance and want a glimpse of like a special moment with a celebrity. And there were so many people with that same mindset that they had to rush all at once to try to get to the front. I mean, there's all this speculation about Travis inciting people to shirk security, that kind of thing. There's videos on Twitter of like this one girl jumping on the stage or side stage and yelling at the people saying, there are people dead in this crowd, stop the show. And they didn't stop the show. Like, it's crazy, dude. And it's incredibly sad because this is just not freaking worth it. Props to Travis for being able to generate such a good brand and so much hype around his products and events and all that kind of stuff. But God dang it, dude, 8 people lost their lives because of this one guy. If you've been to any concerts, you felt that feeling of where if you're in kind of a general admission pit area, a new act is coming on or something happens that turns the tide and people start rushing to the front and people start pushing you, like you lose control. It is a uncontrollable force that, I mean, for tens of thousands of people, you can trample each other. The last time I did that was, I think, Warped Tour 2007, maybe, in Dallas. I remember because it was so freaking hot and sweaty, and there was all these emo kids that, I can't remember what band it was. It was like Yellow Card or something. I think it might have been Coheed and Cambria. People started rushing the front and slamming up against each other to the point where I had to get the heck out of there. Like, I'm pretty claustrophobic as it is. To be in a crowd like that is terrifying, and I've never been to a concert like that ever again. And I mean, dude, that's just like, at a minimum, it's not fun. At a maximum, people lose their lives. So super sad to see that. I mean, Travis obviously is trying to make good on it. I don't know how you do this. Like, this is going to sour his image a ton. It's not going to freaking hurt his sneaker sales or event ticket sales or anything, but it's just terrible. I probably shouldn't have started with that because now I'm freaking depressed after that freaking story. Nike files for trademarks for digital goods. So this is interesting to me because my friend Ryan David Mullins has a company called Aglet that I'll put a link here. And they kind of pioneered this digital sneaker marketplace and kind of created this kind of NFT digital sneaker marketplace where you basically earn currency by walking, and it tracks your steps and all that kind of stuff, and you kind of collect and flex and sell your digital sneakers. And now Nike is like making this a lot more legitimate because they've filed for trademarks for digital goods. And this is interesting because, like, I don't know how you enforce trademarks by way of the blockchain, but they're going to try to do it. Nike is seeking to trademark its brands for various virtual goods in the U.S., including shoes and clothing, as digital products become more popular. Filed 7 requests with the USPTO in late October. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. PreachersNSneakers is trademarked too, so come at me. To protect its marks in categories including downloadable virtual goods and related services for retail stores and entertainment. I mean, it's yet to be seen how they'll enforce this, but I guess the whole point of having an NFT is that you can prove that your thing is the original thing. It's just interesting. It kind of gives more legitimacy to this whole NFT marketplace, and I just want to give props, I guess, to Ryan David Mullins, who kind of had a first jump on this. It's one of those things that it's going to be hard to compete with Nike, and who knows what's going to happen with Aglet, but I hope he still finds a way to crush it. So that's sneaker news. Sneaker releases, there's a few coming out. They're not that exciting. November 10th, which happens to be the Marine Corps birthday. Nike Overbreak Armory Navy, and Hot Curry. These are pretty cool. I've never seen these. It's kind of like a Epic React version of the Roshi run, kind of. I mean, people stopped wearing Roshis a while ago, but Nike Overbreak doesn't have mainstream attention. I'm taking this from Sneaker News. I take most of my sneaker articles from Sneaker News. It says, Nike Overbreak hasn't gained the mainstream attention of other propositions under the Nike Sportswear banner, but it's become a go-to option among savvy consumers. I think it looks pretty dope. Like, it kind of a comfy vibe. Those are coming out November 13th. Oh, man. And I'll talk about Kanye here in a little bit, but this dude, November 13th, the Yeezy Knit Runner boot in the sulfur colorway. I don't have words for this freaking shoe. How do you describe it? It's like a Velcro boot that doesn't fit anybody with no support, but it's waterproof. It basically looks like one of those insoles that you wear when you go walk the Narrows in Zion National Park. It's basically like the bottom half of a fishing waders. All of these examples are terrible, but you'll have to look at it. I mean, I'll put the picture up, but Kanye just does, or Ye. No, I guess he's not Kanye. His name is Ye now. But these are coming out November 13th. Yeezy Knit Runner Boot Sulfur, and they are for nobody. Yet they're probably going to sell out because the hype beasts will freak out about anything. That Ye, Travis Scott, Drake, freaking Virgil Abloh, anything they put out, they're going to freak out about. But that's November 13th. You can get all the info at sneakernews.com. It's where I'm taking it from. And then sometime in November, it's not specified, Yeezy does redeem some of these releases with the restock of the blue tint Yeezy 350 V2. First came out in 2017, and these are pretty cool. I mean, it's just a regular Yeezy 350 V2, but it's got this like turquoise tint to it, which I think is pretty clean. I had some back in my reselling days, and I wish I would have held on to them because basically all of those Yeezys have appreciated in value. But that's some of the sneaker releases. Again, I've bought no sneakers as of late. I've actually been trying to sell off some because, different stages of life, I guess. So speaking of Kanye, and this is, depending on when this releases, this will be old news, and there will be something else that Kanye is doing in the headlines. But people were freaking out this past week, I guess, because Marilyn Manson was at Sunday service wearing all white along with J. Beebs and Ye, continuing to leverage the art of the troll, I guess. What better way to maintain headline presence than to bring one of the most headline-worthy rockers of the modern age up on stage at Sunday service? So now, people obviously have varying opinions about this, and who cares? Like, the internet is like, you know what? I'm just going to give my opinion, but I guess that's what I'm going to do too. I didn't realize this, but Marilyn Manson has a lot of like documented allegations that have not been been completely dealt with on like crazy sexual assault allegations. And so people are kind of mad about that Kanye, I don't know, brought Marilyn Manson up as a prop for Sunday service, not knowing what he was doing with that and unclear about Marilyn Manson's stance on the whole thing, while there's still outstanding sexual assault allegations by multiple women, high-profile women. There's also stories of Marilyn Manson being like an honorary priest in the Church of Satan. So it's like this dude is controversial, I guess. It's interesting because, one, people got really mad that he was there at all. But then on the other side, people were really mad at those people that were really mad because it's like, dude, this Kanye is reaching Marilyn Manson for Jesus. And it's like, that's unclear. All we can see is Marilyn Manson standing with J. Biebs and Ye while Bieber is praying. But people want to use it. This is like so typical of our culture, my culture included. We want to see a success story so bad that we are willing to take a 30-second clip and assign so much meaning to a 30-second clip with not a ton of context and not a ton of like background about what Marilyn Manson is doing. I don't care about Marilyn Manson. I like the idea that Kanye can reach super high profile, controversial people, but also there's the matter of Kanye always having something to promote at the same time. This is the trouble with having massive mainstream celebs be seen as like high profile faith figures. I have no way of knowing what J. Biebs or Kanye or Marilyn Manson's status is with Jesus or with faith or whatever. For a lot of people, it just seems like another publicity stunt. It's effective as a publicity stunt. I'm literally talking about this because those three dudes were at Sunday service. And so yet again, the focus is pointed on those three dudes instead of the God of the universe. So like, what are you worshiping? Who are you worshiping? I saw this article, Washington Post, which is actually like a repost from Religion News Service, said something about Marilyn Manson maybe laundering his reputation by being there, basically trying to get in the public eye's good graces for being there or something. It's just an interesting choice, and it's like, we'll see. Like, it will be a miracle, an amazing miracle, if somehow Marilyn Manson turns from his sin, and follows Jesus. Absolutely. It's also yet to be seen whether or not this just was a publicity stunt for Kanye's crazy fishing wader boots that are coming out this month as well. My guy Ruslan on YouTube had some hot takes on this as well. In the positive for Kanye specifically on being able to get Marilyn Manson there, and we'll see. I respect Ruslan a lot and his takes, and he even references scripture, which I'm probably not going to do here. And you can check out his takes on that here. I'm assuming I can put a link. And Ruslan, it's a good point in that just like you guys, maybe probably me included, slander Kanye for being unstable or whatever, which is still, the jury's still out about everything that Kanye does. But he's here having Bieber pray over Marilyn Manson. It's like, all right, that's true. Congrats. We'll see if there's any life change. Like, it's impossible to make a judgment one way or the other about the net result of that. So I'm not arguing with Ruslan. Like, I agree and respect Ruslan that like we shouldn't drag Kanye for trying to do big things. Like, Kanye's not scared of doing big things or scared of controversy. But also it serves him so well to do that in his own personal interests. And so that just is always in the back of my mind anytime Kanye pops up being seen as some like beacon of faith or beacon of evangelism. And then, the haters are going to say, well, what are you doing? It's like, that's not the point, dude. Point is that it is so easy to use these guys as props, as success stories, instead of actually taking care of the person, as well as like all of these unaddressed sexual assault allegations. So like, yeah, we all sin, but also let's not elevate a guy that potentially is a serial sexual assaulter. It seems like a pretty rational thing to do while, still loving a person, having grace for a person, but not excusing a person. Anyways, I'm going to talk too much about that. And this is how I get exhausted with talking about faith stuff. I have these internal conversation because I am years deep into having these kind of conversations with people. And so I can hear the responses both ways. Like, again, I'm not judging any of those dudes in terms of their walk, their faith walk. All I can judge is what I see, of which they are serving it up to us. And there's some very stark imagery that they're putting forward in a very curated fashion, putting white robes on everybody, getting in a little prayer circle and making sure everybody's catching us praying in 4K. It's just like, could you have done that without? We'll see. We'll see what happens. More to come, I guess. All right. On a lighter note, sports. Sports games and matches and competitions. Nobody else here cares except the state of Arkansas, but this is my channel, so I get to do whatever the freak I want. So by some miracle, the Arkansas Razorbacks won a game again. Mississippi State this weekend, those annoying cowbells, somehow we were able to get a dub against Mississippi State, so I'm super stoked about that for the next 5 days until it all wears off, just like any other sports victory. And on the pro football side, I'm hesitant to even mention this because the whole topic is so freaking tired. In the spirit of old news, Aaron Rodgers lied about being vaccinated. He now has COVID, and shocker alert, that did not go well for him. He's getting slammed from all sides because in some interview out there, he said he was immunized and did the whole lawyer thing and didn't specify which immunizations he had, and now is having to backpedal a bit because he's got COVID and had lied about his whole status with COVID. And so I get he's going on all these interviews about talking about how he's getting persecuted and getting canceled by the woke mob, but it's just like, dude, say you're worth $100 million and someone says, hey, in order for you to keep making this $100 million, you have to get the COVID vaccine. I think I'm pretty quickly jamming that COVID vaccine right into my neck or wherever it needs to go, ASAP Rocky. I can't believe that these dudes fight this so hard. I get the deeper things at stake and the personal convictions and the disagreements about science, all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying, for me personally, your boy BK, $100 million bucks. I'm assuming Aaron's worth at least $100 million. I could probably look this up with my 2 freaking screens here, but I'm not going to do it because then you'll have to listen to my mechanical keyboard and it makes your ears bleed. If somebody said, hey, you're playing football professionally, we're going to pay you $100 million. This is a super exaggerated conversation. We're going to pay $100 million. All you have to do is do what you've been doing and get this shot in your arm. To me, as somebody that's never going to be in that situation, it's easy for me to speculate or to armchair quarterback. Plenty of pun intended. But I'm probably going to get that shot without asking any freaking questions. The league that's paying me these hundreds of millions of dollars is mandating this. Aside from the debate about maybe the appropriateness of a vaccine mandate, $100 million bucks, bro, give me the shot. I'm going on my way. Let's deal with the consequences later, I think. And that's terrible. But it's interesting the lines in the sand people draw. And I guess Aaron's ability to draw that line in the sand and not be super worried about it, bro. But I don't know. It's like people really put a stink up about this. And it's just like, dude, you could be playing tonight. It's November 7th. You're playing Kansas City right now. And instead, you're having to sit out because you got COVID and didn't get the vaccine. I don't know, bro. A couple pieces of entertainment that are interesting. Call of Duty Vanguard came out this week. For those that play video games, Call of Duty is a very important piece of a lot of gamers' lives. I mean, especially during the pandemic. Call of Duty Warzone came out, I don't know, like a week or two before the pandemic or after the pandemic. And so that's like what everybody played, or everybody, a lot of people that I knew played over the course of the pandemic. And this is pretty large refresh. Black Ops Cold War came out, but it was trash. Super trash. That game was trash. If you like that game, it was trash. But Call of Duty Vanguard, which is like a back to World War II variant of the Modern Warfare engine, came out this week. I didn't pick it up because it looks like it's more of the same, but that's got people talking, and to be fair, it looks fun, but I don't know if it's going to be worth $60. Maybe it'll be a Christmas gift. We'll see. If you're listening, family. My wife and I started watching You season 3 on Netflix, and this show is interesting. It's like, I go back and forth on it. It's entertaining, but it's also, I don't know if it's a great use of our time or not, because there's some raunchy stuff in it. It's like pretty violent in certain situations, yet it's also compelling. I mean, it's literally a show about a deranged functioning stalker dude that murders people and then marries another girl that's potentially even more crazy than him. Season 3 trying to live this domestic suburban lifestyle. It is very entertaining and compelling, but it is also not the most wholesome show in the world. Sue me. Also, something that we have not checked out yet, but I'm really excited about watching is Dune on HBO Max. I'm assuming it's in theaters too. And I'm most excited about it, I think, because Hans Zimmer did the music. And there's my first voice crack of the video. It's great. But Hans Zimmer, who can do no wrong in terms of musical scores, did the music for Dune. It's super dope. The visuals look dope. It's just one of those things that we haven't had like 2 or 3 hours to sit down and watch this movie. But I think the reviews are pretty good. People are enjoying it. I'm looking forward to checking it out, and maybe you should too. Let me know in the comments if you got to watch Dune or You Season 3 or played Call of Duty Vanguard. Let me know in the comments what you think. That's a bit of old news. for you for Amateur Hour. Maybe we'll call it Old News on Amateur Hour. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or it's still in process. Let me know. If you can think of a good title, let me know in the comments. Thanks for everybody that's subscribed to the YouTube channel as well as the podcast and followed on Instagram. If you haven't already, check out the Preachers and Sneakers book where all super fun books are being sold. That is all of my thoughts that you could ever want on the entire Preachers and Sneakers topic. There's also a million podcasts out there that you can Google yourself if you want to hear my thoughts on celebrity pastors and getting rich off of preaching and all that kind of stuff. So far, this is the most of where I'm spending my time in terms of content is on YouTube. Give it the old college try, the old community college try to try to grow this channel and hopefully build out content more and more. Exciting things coming down the pike too in the long term that I still can't talk about, but I'm going to keep teasing because one, it's good for retaining viewers, and also when I can announce it, it is going to be probably bigger than you're really expecting. Keep an eye out for that. But yeah, definitely pick out the book. Definitely check out the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, all those things. But also YouTube is the best place for the newest possible content from your boy BK. So thanks for everybody subscribing and checking out the video. Tune in next time where I'm going to talk about the same old news on Amateur Hour. Old news on Amateur Hour. We'll call it that for now. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you want to see more, click here and watch another video, or here for another video. And I think there's maybe 3 total, so that might do it for you. But don't stop. Keep watching and subscribe. See you next time.